6 p.m. here on Friday. Another Friday. It's June 7th. Friday, June 7th. Time goes by so fast, and we're in the Stargate. We're going to give it a couple minutes for people to come in. I'm excited for everybody to be here and with me, and we've got new energies going on. Have a new month, have the new Stargate that just started yesterday. New moon, we're still in new moon energies as well. So there's all that happening. There's more and more and more happening. I want to make sure that I'm online. Looks like I'm online everywhere. And today, so I want to give a little bit of an energy update. But I am, excuse me. Oh, my drink. I forgot my drink. I'm going to go get my drink. Can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that. Let's go get my drink. Where is it? Oh, it's out. Oh, I left it out there in the grass. I left my drink in the grass. Shoot. That's why I don't have it on. Yeah. All right. Now I have my drink. Let's see if anybody's here with me. I left to go grab my drink, and then I realized my drink is off in the yard, way far away. So I had to get a new drink. Cheers. Cheers. Yeah, I completely forgot about it out there. So anyway, here we are, settled. Welcome to the podcast, to the We Are Healing podcast, Infiniti here. I got my beverage now. Everything is good. Let me know that you're here by leaving a comment. Otherwise, I don't know that you're here. And so anyway, as I was saying, before I realized I didn't have my drink, was that we have quite a lot going on right now. We have this Stargate that just started yesterday, the June Stargate, 6/6 to 6/16 officially, when energies are really pulling us deeper into the Milky Way, closer to that center of our universe. Hello, Michelle. Hello. Hello. Happy Friday. Happy Friday to the family. So we have the Stargate. Excuse me. We have the Stargate going on. And this one, I'm getting more information trickling in as we go, which is, I just saw 444. 444. Oh, thank you. Happy Friday, we send love. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I've gotten some a little bit more information on the energies of the Stargate that I am guided to share, which is really, I mean, we kind of know this already, but it's something to really be aware of. That this Stargate is really about leveling up in our consciousness and just across the board in the collective, just in a lot of different ways, being triggered in different ways, but also being guided to, or more like activated to raise our awareness, raise our consciousness, maybe become aware of our fears more, become aware of more of the unseen, feel beyond the veil in deeper, richer, more intense ways than we have. That is definitely on the table. So from people barely waking up or just now waking up and beyond, there is definitely a kind of peeling back of a couple of layers, which by definition, we are going to feel more sensitive to energy, to other people, to just all of the things. So we may be more uncomfortable in groups or around a lot of people, whether it's in person or even virtually for some of us. Even being like in a virtual meeting with a lot of people can be taxing for a variety of reasons. But yeah, sensitivity to just across the board, a heightened sensitivity in your energy field, in your emotional body. So you may be extra emotional, extra sentimental. Fears may be coming up more. So, more stress or anxiety, maybe in the mental body. And there's also going to be, so let me explain it in this way. If we're thinking about power of magnetism, of bringing in, of feeling into energies around us, then that ability is strengthened, is stronger, is getting an upgrade. But whenever we have that going on, this pendulum swings both ways. I had to learn this for myself. I'm like, oh, I'm definitely way more connected to things, way connected to a lot more. Neffel, hello, good evening. Welcome. So I'm definitely connected to a lot more. I'm receiving a lot more. My psychic abilities are, when it comes to the woo-woo and the spiritual, when this was going on with me, it's like, oh, all that's happening. And then I realized like, oh, I'm also extra sensitive in all these other ways too. It's not just in that way. It affects your entire perception. And of reality, and so on all levels. So your sense of smell will get stronger, your sense of sight will get stronger, you're more sensitive to touch, even whatever, all of it. So as these things happen, and it's multi-layered too, because we have these, kind of upgrades going on, but we're also being kind of tested at different thresholds. It's like, and this is the thing about Stargates, is even if we're really conscious of them, of the energies being more intense, of timelines really being in flux, and we're guided to create, solidify, or dismantle or just delete, however you want to put that. I usually use another word, but it's not coming to me. Timelines. All of this is shifting and changing, but it also is shifting and changing according to what's going on with you internally, where your vibration is, and where, how you're processing negatively or positively, and how you're managing what's going, what's all going on below the surface or on surface level, whether it's seen or unseen. So this is why we're constantly saying, when it comes to stargates, that the maintaining of your vibration, mastering your frequency is so important, because we are going to be challenged energetically and, mentally, all the things that can lower our vibration. And when we have an extra thinning of the veil and peeling back a couple of layers, it's really like that. We're more sensitive, we're more exposed. The whole collective is, and all of that bounces off of itself. So as you can see, it's a looping kind of energy in situation that's going on there. And this month, we're also heading towards a real paradigm shift, a real a real shifting of the collective consciousness on the micro and the macro levels. And that's coming in around or after at the summer solstice. So that is something definitely to consider. And then we have layered upon that the new moon. Like I said, we just had the new moon yesterday. We're still big time in new moon energies. This is reinforcing new beginnings. So we have that. I feel, generally speaking, that new moons are a lot easier to get through and to deal with multi-layered other things than full moons, for sure. I've witnessed that for myself and for other people. So for me, this is not an adding of so much of a different flavor. It's just more of the same flavor in terms of new beginnings and turning things over, which is what's going on in June. We also have the energies of Gemini with this new moon. And again, that is about balancing. Gemini is the twins, and very much kind of mirroring of energies, mirroring of experiences, mirroring of the inner and the outer and all of that. So we can see more. So it's a really auspicious time for more awareness on all levels, even, when it comes to the upgrades and what we can see with our eyes open and what we can see with our eyes closed as well. So that is certainly part of it. So just to keep these things in mind as we're moving forward, do your best to connect with your guides and guardians, especially your guardian angel, as they are always eternally with you and can really help you navigate and kind of just, one of the great things is navigating the practical aspects of being an embodied human, is that we can really kind of initiate this real help and guardianship and eternal family, friendship, however you want to put it, with our guardian angels. They've been with us since the beginning. They know us better than, we know ourselves for sure, especially from this aspect. and they're always there and ready to help. And that's just something I'm always guided with my clients to really, and into my groups and stuff, is really to think about, consider, pay attention to, communicate with, initiate communication with your guardian angel. Because it's always going on. It's just normally you're not conscious of it, and it's below the radar, and it hits you in different ways than the way that we, our perception, how we perceive that guidance. Could be in multiple ways, but a lot of the time it's always the same answer. It is our guardian angel. So if we can be conscious with that and communicate with our guardian angels from, just on a kind of moment by moment basis as you're going through your daily life. And, so it's kind of like, think about how you would talk to yourself and just direct that towards your guardian angel. Because you talking to yourself is effectively you talking to your guardian angel anyway. It's that you're not so conscious of it. So, yeah. And for anybody to, or just to remember, you have the power and authority to call in angels to you to help clear your environment and to help you feel better in whatever ways that you need to feel better, to get, whatever that it is. Angels, archangels, and the same for the dragons. They're angelic as well, and you can call them. So just a reminder about that we have that capability to do that for ourselves, kind of depending on your frequency, your vibration, and your, where you're at with all of this stuff will kind of determine how much you're really consciously able to have back and forth, and or how much of it is in visions and just feeling and knowing and whatever, or having a direct back and forth in a really tangible way. All of these things are possible. There's grades to it, there's levels, and it's like, just depends on where you're at. And the further you go in your healing and ascension and connection and the whole thing with yourself and your soul and your guides and your guardians, and the more effort you put to clear your space, to do shadow work, to work with your cords, and the more that all of these things become, kind of stack up and get more intenser, in that way, the more life force you have, the more, potential you have for your magic, whatever that is. But, when it comes to the psychic stuff, that is a very, this equals that, so it's like wherever your frequency is, where you're at with your healing, where you're at with your spiritual connect, it all equals like, what are your abilities? And so that does improve and get better and stronger, from the basics of really not being able to visualize and not having a really active third eye, because things are just getting going for you. And then, 6-8 months later, that really changing and people really being able to see with their third eye so much better, because they were consistently, doing stuff, meditating and, healing, clearing, meditating, all the things. Let's see here. We have a comment. When calling in the angels, should there be a specific way to ask? Examples, say angels of pure love and light. can being masked as angels if you're not specific? Oh, yeah, that's not, you don't have to be specific. It's really not complicated at all. Because here's the thing. This is going to clear it up. This is what most people don't really understand, is that your angels, your guardian angel and angels, they're around you all the time. Okay. What you're doing is really activating and engaging yourself to work with them consciously. You're not so much calling them in as you are activating you to their presence that is already there. And your guardian angel, so there's usually just with any of us light beings, incarnates, and it becomes even more so when we awaken. We need more angels around us as we awaken. So we'll have kind of a little army around us all the time in the perimeter, protecting us. We have our miracle angels and our healing angels, and we have our guardian angels, and they're just kind of circulating all the time. So when we say we're calling them in, we're just getting ourselves conscious of them and to start dialogue with them in that conscious way. That's really what it is. So it's not like you can dial the wrong number, because they're already tuned in, they're already with you. And if anything, they will call in more, or they'll, the call will just go out to more and to archangels, and it'll just kind of be a frequency that goes out, and then just instantly everybody is just present, and you can typically feel that it may get dense in your atmosphere. For me, I get the yawns, my ears will pop. Those are two of the big things. You wouldn't know that my ears are popping, but you see me yawning. That's what I do when I start doing oracle, or, doing channeling, or doing psychic work, or healing, or anything like that. Everybody starts coming in, and it really is like changing in altitude, and your whole, you'll feel it, and you'll just know more and more. You can't call in anything negative by accident. You can't call in demons or parasites or anything nefarious by accident. You have to really go out of your way in a really intentional way to call in anything that you wouldn't want to be calling in. You know what I'm saying? Well, it's true that they are constantly working in different ways to slow us down, to come at, to attack us, to mess with our timelines, to mess with people around us, and all this sort of thing. They're kind of busy doing their usual riddle making and chaos making and confusion making and fear making in the collective. It's when people are, deciding, I'm going to do some dark magic. I'm going to connect with the dark. I'm going to, go down to a lower frequency. I'm going to, research and find out what, witchcraft or incantations or whatever spells to call in. Because there's very specific dark energies and entities that are just waiting for people like that are going to do that. So I hope that answers your question about that. But that does lead us into the topic at hand. So let's get right to it, which is the spiritual war. And this is definitely coming up more and more. And it is something to be aware of, especially in the Stargate, because of the fact that people do have parasites, whether it's the puppet master narcissist parasite or the more basic parasites or different sophisticated parasites, they do get very busy at Stargate times because of the fact of what's going on with the light and the other side of things. So they try to inject fear, inject triggers to programs and illusions and projections and things like that set them off. So those people that have parasites will get set off at least one or two of the lower, more basic leechy type parasites that are in one or two of the energy centers of the chakras. And they really don't, they're not sophisticated enough to really control people, but they just deplete life force energy. And I mean, this is a big deal. When I say just, it's not just, it is significant, and nobody should have a parasite. But the fact of the matter is that most people have one or two of these lower level leechy type parasites that are in one or two of the chakras or energetic centers, energy centers, and even they will start getting more active. So those will be times where people will, even people that are awake, people that, you could be fully awake and have parasites. I see it a lot. So yeah, because some people think that like, oh, if anybody has a parasite, then that means that they're not awake. And that's not true. You can have a parasite and be awake for sure. And different types of parasites as well. So, it's just important to understand when we talk about the spiritual war, what's in play, how things are maneuvered. And it's basically different, people being kind of hijacked by some parasite that they have. Narcissists, that is what they are. They have what we call the puppet master parasite. It is pretty sophisticated, and it's usually almost always have been with the person since childhood, and they are fully enmeshed, but it is a very manipulative and controlling parasite. And there are others that are even more sophisticated than that. There's and they can come in later in life through other different types of trauma as well. They can affect you health-wise. They can affect you with addictions. They can affect you with relationships, love and romance. So there's kind of like, pick your theme or type of area of life. They can affect you with work stuff. So, and then there's ones that affect you with all the things. There's ones that can take you through time lines and connect you to different timelines without you really understanding what's going on. That's a pretty sophisticated one. I didn't even know they existed until not too long ago. And there's even some that kind of soul mission is to break a person down to the point of suicide. But it just really depends on the person and really what they have going on and what they're vulnerable to at any given time as well. The dark side will do whatever it needs to do to keep us kind of going in circles and in illusion and manipulated and controlled through these parasites. But also, it's not just about parasites. It's about the will that they inject into the collective consciousness that trigger us into fear. They also are connected to and parasites for hosts that are influential in the world, powerful in the world, that create timelines, that create things going on that affects everybody. And their main source of energy is our negative energy. So it's typically not enough to have a host to create negative energy from that host, but it's to create negative energy around that host as well. And but really the name of the game is to keep people from ascending, because as we ascend, as we get healthy and heal and connect and gain in our life force energy, the more powerful we are, the more we can work with alchemy and timelines and affect, like the dark can affect the collective. We can too in different ways, but especially, that's why we've incarnated. So we can affect this reality in a way that if you're on the other side of the veil, you can only affect this reality by being an influence on somebody alive and awake in this reality, right? So, that's the point of connecting to our guides and our guardians, is so they can have influence and guide us through this. But it also works the other way around. Just like earlier when I was saying, you get, power this way, you get sensitivity this way. Well, the light can guide us and influence us. So can the dark. And depending on how we are seeing things or perceiving things and understanding things and how we're programmed, and you have to understand, because they're invisible, because they're in control of people and have been for forever, they have control of the narrative or narratives that have programmed people through fear, almost always, or some type of limitation or separation is usually the name of the game. So like fear, limitation, separation is also abandonment. So separation and abandonment, those very much go hand in hand. So that's the battle, is to awaken, to understand that all this is going on, that there's so much that we cannot see with our eyes, most of us anyway, that is unseen. Even if it's like, sometimes like the most obvious reasons, explanations, right? Was that Occam's razor? Occam's razor? Yeah, something like that. Spacing right now. But anyway, it's like the most obvious answer is the answer. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if that's the most obvious, but it is, it's like once you can, see it for when you start going, why does this why is humanity against humanity? That doesn't make sense. Why would a species destroy itself? Especially an intelligent species. Well, it's because first, from the beginning, we were altered, we were shifted and changed. We're like literally we're afraid of AI, and in a really interesting and organic way, we are the AI. If we think about how we have gone, how the Homo sapien has developed and created and advanced because of being aware and sentient and creative and able to receive information outside of us, ideas to create things. We can thank the light for that. Well, the dark as well. It can create a lot too. So we can also create from the dark side. We can create from the light side. So to understand it from that perspective, sometimes it's just the thing that we need to process and really get, exercise and get used to understanding is what the unseen is the light, is the dark, and how things are run, and, what's all in play, as we say. Which isn't easy, but if we can be conscious that there's this whole thing going on below the surface of what anybody can see, and really see ourselves in that, because that's why we're here. Again, we're here to affect change. The best way to do that is to be embodied, awake, and connected. But we have a whole set of who don't want us to do that, because the point of us doing that is to escape that maze and that matrix of control that the dark side has over humanity. And we can see that by just looking, if we want to, it's not fun, but if we want to look at all the horrible shit in the world and the horrible things that people do to each other, and especially those in power, how do they have power? Where does their power come from? Why does this perpetuate? Why does, you know what I mean? We start asking ourselves these questions, and we look at it through the bigger lens, things start to just naturally fall in place and make sense. Plus, the light has been injecting us with a lot of information, a lot of clues, and a lot of ways for us to understand this if we choose to see the truth. Now, a lot of people don't want to see this for what it is, because it's a little icky and ooey when we think about parasites and the dark side and being manipulated and this whole spiritual war going on. And, it sounds like fantasy. It sounds like sci-fi or whatever. It doesn't seem real. Yet it is very real. It is very real. And the sooner we can get on board with that and see things for what they are, and start to disengage from things that perpetuate that. And again, one of the things that I say over and over again, I'm guided to channel, or I channel and guided to bring out, is to understand that we don't fight the dark directly. We don't go looking for fighting the dark. We fight the dark by being the light. That's all we got to do. And we were fighting the dark before we woke up, whenever that was, just by being us. And if you can look back on your life, if you are of the light, there's been a lot of opposition in different ways, a lot of things to get past, and maybe some really serious things, and maybe even, you could have died a few times. I have all of that, and more than a few times. And never would I have, if somebody said, do you realize that, your life has been in peril, or this almost happened, and your life was saved because of the light's influence, or you were in that situation because of the dark, I would be like, what crazy shit are you talking about? The only difference is now I understand what's going on, and I can be in control and work with the light to take me step by step in a really conscious way. So I circumvent the dark. I don't want to come face to face with darkness or evil. I have. Not my favorite thing to do. I don't go looking for that, and none of us should. It will find us because we are who we are. So most of the time, it's like, watch out for that. That's dark. Go this way instead. Or let you see them before they see you, and then make yourself small and get around, just in different ways. Because, engaging with the dark is always going to deplete you. It's always on some level. You can't engage with the dark without it affecting you. Period. It will. The question is, how much will it? For how long? And where will it take you? So, given those circumstances, we want to avoid that shit as much as possible. We want to cut out narcissists from our lives. We want to stay away from places and spaces and people and experiences that are known to be dark, that we know are dark, that we are warned about darkness. We won't mess with things that call in the dark. We stay of the light, by the light, and for the light. Again, that's enough. That is fighting the dark just by being the light. They will do what they will do. We need to be on the offensive. We need to be strategic. We need to be tempered in our responses with the dark. We need to be smart about how we go about maneuvering ourselves. Okay, let's see here. How do you know if you have a parasite? Most people won't know that they have a parasite necessarily, especially one of the leechy ones, because if you have just one or two and you don't have and you don't have other things going on, you're not getting depleted in other ways, the system will will compensate, right? So the other chakras will compensate for those ones. And maybe there's some imbalance going on, but maybe not necessarily, because, or you wouldn't know, because it's just always been like that. And that's just, you think who you are energetically. Maybe that's who you are with your stomach stuff or your headache stuff or your asthma stuff or your butt stuff or whatever. It's not that big of a deal. And most of the time it's okay. Maybe it acts up here and there. There's a good chance that's a parasite. Low level leechy parasite. Yeah. But some people, it's just going to be, it's kind of an overall kind of tired here and there. But basically everybody has one or two of these leechy parasites. It's like rare that I meet somebody, I have a client who does not have one. But if you are thinking the more sophisticated parasites, those are the ones that are going to affect you way more medically or health-wise. You're gonna have serious addictions or addiction or multiple addictions, especially to illicit drugs and alcohol. You can have perpetual issues in relationships. Like I said before, there's like these different themes and within those themes, how they're going to trigger you and affect you in your reality. But typically there's an imbalance on some level. If you can say, I'm totally healthy, mentally, energetically, physically, from top to bottom, I'm not on any medications, I don't have issues in my life, I don't have dramas, I don't have addictions, I don't have, ailments, that's how you know you don't have a parasite. If you have chronic whatever, the chances of you having a parasite is extremely high. Extremely high. And this goes for, the mental and the emotional as well. Not just physical. Okay. So, and typically we have these parasites from when we were young, but that it's not always the case. They can come in at times when we're extra vulnerable, We can get, like, I know one of my clients, she got the one that is really sophisticated when she was raped. I know of another one of my clients that one came in at a time of like a real catalyst moment in her awakening. And she did connect with her guardian angel. There was that, like, the door flew open, and then immediately this parasite came in and confused her and literally made her think that she was in an AI reality. So it's not always that we can, be infected by these parasites at a young age. It's just more likely. But if if the dark side can connect a parasite to a light body, at any stage in their life, that's a major win for the dark side, because that is like effectively putting 100 pounds of weight on you and making life really difficult in a lot of ways. And that's the name of the game. Remember, negative energy, cultivating negative energy, and keeping the light from awakening and ascending and being really sovereign and uniting and taking over from the material matrix to the abundance matrix, which is, that's the mission. That's the battle. Gabriella, hi, my love. How about urinary issues? Can the parasite affect your reproductive organs? Yeah, sure. Yep. You can have parasites in any of your chakras. So your root, your sacral, people that have them there, they'll have, women will have a lot of reproductive issues, menstrual issues, or and endometriosis or cancers and things like this. Absolutely. So in anywhere that we can get sick in our energetic system from head to toe, that's where the lower level leechy, when I say leechy, I'm talking about, like, think of a leech in the swamp, and they look like that. They're just these kind of little blobby things that are attached to the chakra, and they're disrupting the alignment and the flow. And they're receivers and injecting negative energy stuff too. It's just not as sophisticated as like a puppet master parasite or any of these other ones. But they definitely cause issues, cause different issues. So, but yeah, absolutely. And that's really the way to know. If you have a chronic something going on, you have a parasite. Now, let me take this a little bit further. That doesn't mean that the parasite is causing all of those issues either. I know, right? You're like, wait a minute. I thought the parasite was going to be the thing that's causing all the problems, right? Not necessarily, because you're also, if that's going on, you are a light body, you're an empath, you're somewhere on that scale, and you're also overloaded with negative energy. I guarantee it. Everybody I've ever worked with comes overloaded. If you have a chronic fill in the blank, you have two things going on. You have an overload of energy, negative energy, because why? The parasite likes that. Makes it hard for you to dispel all the, to clear. Right? Is this making sense? So you have to think of that. If you think, oh, this parasite is all of it, it's like, well, yes and no. Yes, it's doing its own thing, but it's also, because of this going on, because of you being you, just kind of by default, processing, transmuting energy, negative to positive energy, you're going to have an abundance of negative energy that needs to be cleared. Plus, you have your own shit, your own story, your own, traumas, your own experiences. And yeah, a lot of that could be attributed to the dark side and the spiritual war to begin with and all of that, whatever, but it is what it is. We have energies, we have cords to energy that is also playing a part in our disruption and in our disease, in our chronic conditions, in our chronic pain, and our chronic fatigue, and our chronic cognitive fogginess issues. So we need to see it from the broader perspective. When somebody comes to me with all this chronic shit going on, I can absolutely work with them to eliminate all of it. But it's not a one and done. It's not like we just take this thing out and everything falls into place. There's a lot that needs to be rearranged and processed and cleared, and then, worked on and processed and cleared and all of these things. So that's something too that's part of this dark side spiritual war, is to understand that there's a lot of posers, for lack of a better term, a lot of fake people who, come off as all love and light and healing and stuff, but they also make things that really aren't a priority when it comes to ascension and healing and stuff. Or they kind of promise that they can, we'll cut cord, I can cut cords for you. First off, you need to cut your own cords for you. Just like you need to eat, sleep, and exercise for yourself, you need to cut cords for yourself. There's never going to be just 1 or 2 or 3, energy healing sessions that's going to fix everything. There's no such thing in the world. We can't just jump timelines. I talked about that last week. We need to go through the process. We can't just be on the 100th floor until we've built 99. It's how we built that 99 and what timelines we're building those 99. Yeah. So if we think about it that way, we have to really break ourselves down and go, what's going on here? Where am I out of sync and deficient and, vulnerable? And everybody has vulnerabilities and deficiencies and are blocked or out of sync in all of the chakras and all of the bodies, just because that's kind of the human condition to some degree for everybody. Maybe another 100 or 200 years when we've had a few generations that's been more conscious in ourselves and in raising children, we will have less and less of that. We'll win more of the spiritual war. We won't be so controlled. We will be sovereign, yada, yada, yada. But for now, there's a shit ton of stuff. And this is what we're doing here now. We need to pull all this apart for ourselves, because for every one of us that is working in this way and pulling these things apart and seeing it on these different levels, so we can maximize our life force. Because every single fear we have, every single ailment we have, every single limitation we have in one way or another equals lower frequency, lower level timelines, greater vulnerability to the dark side, period, the end. So by definition, in order to, get us to a place of power, we need to clear out all of the things and all of the different ways that we are less than maximized. Now, at any given point, we're always maximized, right? So we have to see it that way too. But this is why I was guided to create my Unstoppable Empath course and membership. That's about you learning how to work with your cords, cutting them and resetting them. And there's a lot that needs to be done just with that. But that is massive, because with every cord you cut or reset, you get a shit ton of energy back, and it rearranges you, your perception, your timelines, your relationships. Just it's a big deal every time you do that. You do that for yourself over and over and over again. Cord cuts and cord resets is a really, really big deal. Just that for helping with things. Of course, undergoing healing sessions where like, if you're going to work with me, we're like, okay, let's see what we've got here as far as parasites go, and let's extract them. Let's eliminate them. So you don't have that going on anymore. And you might have more than one, I've seen people with a couple of leechy parasites and a couple of, more sophisticated parasites, like really taken over and messed with in a big way. I've seen people with, well, I've only seen one person with like a lot, like over 200 cords that were active. She was a nurse, she worked in healthcare, or, I'm talking like she's past tense, but so there's all of these things that amount up to your experience in your body and what is going on right now, as far as things not working properly. If there's anything in the system that's not working properly, there's an abundance of negative energy and or a parasite that is causing this disruption. And that is what the body does. It tells us we have things that are wrong by pain, by malfunction, by symptoms. That's how it speaks to us. We know that it needs food because we get hunger pains, right? We get cranky and we get tired because we need sleep. I mean, it's pretty basic. So our body has basic communication when it comes to these things. And the way to understand it is how we feel in the body. So again, are you on medication all the time? Do you have something that is wrong or off chronically, mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically? If so, there's a reason for that, and that can be eliminated so you can have all your life force and start to, slice and dice, the things that to raise your vibration from that point forward. Okay, let's see. Nuffle says, I asked because I think my chakras are not balanced. I'm having a difficult time discerning spiritual beings. Do you have a session for this on your website I can book? Yeah. I'm a highly sensitive empath. Yeah, I would start with you with the rainbow light body. Let me just get the website up here for you. So this is just the home page of the website. And if you go to consultations and services, I will also, hey everybody, hi everybody who's here, welcome. And we've got one heart. If I would love more hearts and more likes. And then let me give you the for the algorithm. It's always nice. Then this is the link to my bookings page. And it's like the fourth one down, says Rainbow Light Body Healing. There, you can look at them by categories as well. So for these one-off sessions, you don't need to have a consultation ahead of time. I'll have you, what just happened? Did it go? There we go. I'll have you fill out a couple of, like if you haven't done the empath quiz yet, I have you do that just so you and I both know where you're at on the empath spectrum. More information will come through with that. And then it's a new client consultation form, just giving me some more information about you and where you're at and what's going on. But it's really the way that I work. I connect with Gaia. We work with Gaia directly. We can work with Archangels, or any part of your spirit tribe can come through. I've had people, the Fae come through. We have angels, archangels, Gaia. And we can work with crystals and different types of rainbow light. We do work with the rainbow light energy for sure. And it's about, if you have really serious chronic illness stuff, That is not going to do it. I don't want to paint a picture for that for everybody, but if it's, it's, I mean, depending on what the situation is, depends on what we can do in that one session. But no matter what, that one session is going to help a lot. And it would give us information if there's something else going on there that, that, you know, we need more time with or whatever, because sometimes that might be the case. And in most cases, it's just because your understanding of everything that's coming through and stuff. Sometimes, you know, people have a hard time kind of, if you've had more sophisticated parasites connected to you, they've been manipulating your thoughts and emotions and perception on some level. And when we come through with this new information, sometimes that takes a while to process and integrate, because if there's any part of you who is resisting to the truth and what's going on, that's keeping the parasite safe and hidden. Because we couldn't just go in and extract a parasite without you being fully understanding what is going on when we're extracting that parasite. And for some people, they have a whole mental and emotional thing that they need to go through with me and with us and stuff for a few times or several sessions to start to break away from that brainwashing. But it's tough because while you're doing that, you're still connected, or the thing is still connected to you. It is a battle. But if you get as far as going into that session with me, with us, then a lot can be done there. And in a lot of cases, I can't say 100%, but in a lot of cases, we can extract them at that time. So that's definitely a good place to start. But I would also really consider the Unstoppable Empath course and group membership. Whoop, that's not it. I always do the wrong thing. There we go. That is when you learn how to, it's this course that I take you through, and me guiding you through the whole process. Oopsie. Of learning about in the process of cord cutting, disconnecting cords, and cord resets. And something you do for yourself, and I just support you. We have weekly meetings, and it's only $35 a month. It is me basically giving it away. It's critical work, and that's a great jumping off point to go into other things. And then lastly, the other one that I would consider is the Soul Quest program that I have starting in July. Here we go. This is a finite amount of time. It's 8 weeks, with the final 9th week being our final meeting, our closeout meeting. But it's 8 full weeks, 8 maps of, like I was saying earlier, when you get into really delving into what's going on with you on all levels. So we go into the spiritual body, mental, emotional, physical, energetic, and abundant bodies. And it's like the map or assessments and questions. And I talked about this last week as well. So I'll be brief here, but and there's weekly meetings, and there's self-healing spirit walks for each body. And it really leaves you with, these are the things that I need to work on. This is the shadow work that I need to do. And because everything is interconnected, you'll see the first, 3, 4, 5 big theme things that you can be like, now I have a game plan for what I'm going to work on, healing and shadow work or energy work or spiritual guidance, working with Infiniti, being, in a group, or working with me one-on-one, or doing your own thing. It's a great map, and it's a lifetime membership to go to do it again and again. So I highly suggest looking at those things as far as healing, but there are other healing sessions for anybody that's interested. I have the Dragon Heart Emerald Key healing with the dragons and meeting your guardian dragon. It's beautiful, beautiful session. Super heart-centered, really connecting with dragons. So if there's anybody who's really been feeling dragons or you're a dragon person, the dragons have made that available. And I just did my first one last week. And it was absolutely magical and beautiful and blissful. And so that's another one to do. All of these are, all of them, you can do them all, not just pick one. But then the other one would be the divine feminine goddess energies, channeling Inanna and Gaia. And that's another one. So those ones are on my website. Check those out if anybody is interested. But for general, let's get some good information for you. Let's connect to Gaia. Let's see what we got going on here. Let's infuse you with rainbow light energy. Let's balance out your chakras, and let's see if we have parasites. Let's eliminate the parasites, or at least get information on what's going on. That would be the rainbow light. And I have limited space in June and July. So if you're interested at all in these, I would book sooner than later, because if you look at my calendar, I don't have a whole lot of availability with that. Okay, but if you are interested in working on with me one-on-one, or maybe joining my groups or anything beyond a one-off kind of thing, then I would suggest scheduling a consultation so we can talk about what's the best route to go. Because I do have another group as well, the Awakening Shaman Circle, that has different tiers. It's a weekly group, and you can get more with each tier. Personalized energy work, oracle readings, monthly meetings, and beyond as well. So there's a lot of options to work with me, long-term or short-term, or the one-on-one stuff. And then there's just like psychic. We're not talking about healing. We're talking about like just meeting with me and getting, doing psychic readings or oracles. Those are all on my website there too. So check those out. But across the board, I do have limited availability through the next couple of months at least. So if you are feeling this, definitely book sooner than later. Okay, so what else? Oh, the next topic at hand that I'm being guided to talk about is the topic of reptilians. And this story about reptilians, shapeshifters, people who are like in power that are really actually or celebrities that are really actually reptilian shapeshifters. Those things do not exist. We have human beings that either have parasites or don't. We have human beings that are either with the light, or we have also human beings that are very actively with the dark. And seek out the dark and work with the dark. And there's those people, but we do not have reptilian humanoid type people or shapeshifty people in our reality. A lot of people think that. A lot of people get those messages or channelings or whatever that it is that they get, but that comes through the dark side. And the reason for that is, while we're confused about what the dark side is hidden. So a lot of people have these ideas. It's like you're close, but not quite. And as long as you're not quite on target, you're not right, and you're off. And as long as you're off, you're vulnerable. You can be manipulated. So that is something that's coming up more and more. One of my clients sent me a video today. There's this woman, and I've seen her a few times. She was on Danica Patrick, and she's talking about the whole reptilian thing. And she has been confused. She's been, unfortunately, hijacked into this program. And, it's, it's not like she's consciously giving the wrong information. She believes that that's the right information. So it's for you to discern really for yourself. I can say that's, I know that's not a thing. And everything that comes through about everything since forever is that that's not a thing, is that we're dealing with energetic parasites that control people and have them do lower level energetic or sexual or power, manipulative in a powerful type of way or a controlling type of way. But reptilians do not exist. And if that is a program that you're running, I suggest that you spend some time with that. Think about that, because again, for as long as we're connected to false, we can't be fully connected to the truth. And we will be vulnerable to fear-based material matrix programming while we're running those stories and illusions, because they've injected them, they've created them to keep us off target and off base. Because the most valuable asset that they have is their invisibility. The fact that 99.999% of the population don't know that they're there doing all of these different things that they're doing in all of the different ways that they can do them. That's truly their power. In how, I call it the best, most sophisticated, simplest of Trojan horses ever, is this invisibility. The fact, and even if people are sort of kind of feeling it a little bit of there's something very dark or there's something very light, I feel it like this or that, whatever, different people have different ways of perceiving it. There's enough programming in place to confuse people enough and to get people confused together by sharing the wrong information. And because here's the tricky thing, people, if it's close enough to the truth, a lot of people, if they're not super clear and totally in tune with the light, if it's close enough to the truth, it'll register, it'll resonate, even if it's not completely true. So do Galactics like what we would consider a reptilian race? Does that exist? Yeah. Are they shape-shifty humans? No. So by that, there is a truth to it. And this is what the dark side does. They'll take some truth, 80-90% of truth, and then inject bullshit for the other, 20 to 10% somewhere in there that's off enough. So it's not quite the truth, but a lot of people resonate and process it as truth. So that keeps people really confused about that sort of thing. So that's something to understand. When the best filter to have is either, work with somebody like me, filter things through me. If you're one of my clients, I'm very generous with giving information and sharing my time with my clients. And other than that, if you're not working with me, then hopefully you're having a stronger and stronger connection with your guardian angel and your guides and guardians. And you can really check in and feel into the truth of what I'm saying, or just ask about things in a certain way. Because a lot of things, like I said, will be like that, will be even mostly true, but not totally true. And that can really confuse people that are not fully clearly tuned in. And it'll just be like, oh, this feels like, because there is something that isn't right with these people. And if somebody says, oh, there are these things, you know, whatever, you go, oh, then that's got to be it. That sounds right, because I think that there's something not right with these people, or, you know, for example. And the thing is, yeah, the thing that's not right with them is that they have this parasite connected to them. It's not that they're a reptilian, because they don't exist. That's not a thing. So that was another big one to discuss. When it comes to galactics, what other people would call aliens, when it comes to galactics, they are for the light. They work with us. They're what we know as incarnate star seeds. So I'm an incarnate archangel. We have incarnate star seeds or galactics. And none of the High Council or the Galactic Federation, however different people want to label it, when it comes to Gaia and everything that's going on here, there is not a nefarious galactic race that is working against Gaia and humanity. I want to make that very freaking clear here. There is not a galactic race that is working against Gaia and the collective of humanity. All of them are working for humanity. They're incarnated. I may be talking to a few right now. So that story needs to be deleted. That program needs to be deleted, because it's not true. And it's adding separation for the galactics, however you want to put that. And the more separation we have, whether it's to angels, guardian angels, archangels, Mother Gaia, the rest of the planetary family, the moon, the sun, the fae, the dragons, the galactics, and all sorts of other things, the more that there's false stories in play, we don't have the true connection established. So it's very important to connect with the actual truth of what's going on. And that way we have that clear connection, instead of it being distorted. So that's a really important aspect to understand. There is not a galactic race that is against Gaia and humanity. There's a shit ton of galactic races that are all for humanity and fully invested with the coalition, the council, the federation of light, of the galactics, of all of the divine beings on all levels that are invested in humanity and the liberation of humanity from the dark, from these parasites. It's basically, there's an infestation of these parasites, and for a very, very long time, and they run rampant because they are invisible. And the only way to eradicate them is to awaken and to see them for what they are, and to systematically eliminate them from our bodies. And the only way to do that is if more and more people understand that this is what's going on, and have these procedures done for themselves, these healing sessions done for themselves, and can speak to it and experience life without parasites connected to them, get away from and understand what it is to be in relationships with people who have these parasites and unfortunately need to separate, so you can continue to ascend. Because as long as we're connected to a narcissist or anybody that is parasitic, that is not fully in control, because that's really what it is. It's a level of possession. When we're talking about the dark side, we're talking about humans being hosts for parasites. We're talking about levels of possession. And that's really where people lose the connection. They don't understand that there's levels to possession, and it's sophisticated in the way that it works. And it's not just, The Exorcist and somebody completely demonic or however, over the top that is. I mean, that sort of level of possession is so off the charts and so uncommon for every million people who have the regular other parasites. Maybe we have one person who's possessed on that level. It just is not, thank goodness, that common. But there are many levels of possession. And when you are not fully sovereign, you are possessed. I don't know why I can't get through, past this addiction. Why can't I get away from, this pattern, whatever that it is. There's something other than us calling the shots. If we've ever thought I'm out of control, if any of you've ever heard somebody say, and you've witnessed somebody being out of control and doing other than what they truly want to do, they are possessed by something else that is in control. This is why we call the narcissist the puppet master, because it's literally got the person by the strings on all levels. That's a very, very important thing to understand. Mary. Hi, Mary. Mary says, I was possessed once. You mean once upon a time you were possessed for a time? Because it's rarely you get possessed just the one time. But that's where, just to clarify there. Yeah, it's definitely, and you can, Michelle, welcome. You can definitely have situations where, I've heard it many times, people going to, healers or circles or shamans or whatever. And they, without you knowing, this is why I'm saying there's these posers, fakers in play who come off all light and healing. And the truth of the matter is they're possessed by a dark, entity, by a parasite, and they are extracting and connecting to you. So sometimes, I don't even know how many people over the years come to me and go, I went and saw this person, some weird shit went down energetically, spiritually, and ever since then, blah, 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 in a really dark and not fun kind of way. And it's literally because they trusted the wrong person who had other plans and other things going on, and they got taken advantage of or connected to, possessed in different things. But Mary, please expand. Let us know what you mean by that, how that happened and what happened. And Michelle, oh, there she goes. I was doing a tarot reading for my sister and an evil energy was in me. It was dangerous, but I got it to leave. Interesting. So you felt out of control, or see, because a lot of times people think that that sort of thing feels more to me like you connected to something that was very dark and nefarious or evil, like it was maybe trying, because it wouldn't. Here's the thing, there's some type of level of you have, I explained earlier, maybe you weren't here, but I explained earlier, there needs to be, you need to go looking to connect with something dark, and to work with something dark, and to when it comes to that sort of thing. So a lot of times what you may feel something connected to a person or a situation or whatever, but it may not fully be possessing you. You see what I'm saying? And just by you feeling that and pushing that away and not consenting to it taking over, made it so it didn't stay. And typically, unless you're doing a tarot reading and calling in, doing dark magic spells, or you're in some dark space, you're already kind of in a space for that. Just doing a tarot reading typically isn't going to open you up to something evil to that extent, other than possibly feeling it, feeling what the other person, in this case, I guess your sister, was, you know, maybe she was connecting to, something to that effect. The membership helps us relieve these parasites and the unstoppable empath course and membership, that is for cord cutting, doing cord cuts and cord resets. It's not about parasites. For parasites, you would book a session with me. But the membership does help you bring back life force that is going out to these different cords, and teaches you how to work with energy. It checks a lot of boxes as far as development goes, with spirituality and energy work for yourself, maintenance, spiritual connections, astral travel, archetypes, through working with tarot and doing divination to get further insight on your relationships and, you know, experiences through the tarot and the archetypes, but it does not cover parasites. So the levels of possession. So that's, you know, something to really kind of consider when you look out into the landscape of the world and you observe different people, whether it's, you know, wild and crazy shit going on every day, you know, violent things, people acting like really nuts, to celebrities or people in power and things like that. To see it as there is something else going on here, and observe them in that way, and feel into that kind of energy, that will definitely help. It's hard though, because we can't see it. It's invisible. But again, that's the whole power behind it. It is invisible. So we have to retrain our brains on how to see things, how to see the world through the lens of the spiritual war, and what that's about, and our place in it, and what we're meant to do with ourselves and our lives, and our power as an incarnate to be of the light, to fight the dark, kind of thing. Let's see what Mary has here to say. An evil spirit entered me. I felt it start from my toes all the way up. I stood up and felt old and hunchbacked. It was looking through my eyes, but I have my mom's angel wings protecting me. It tries to cause damage, but the good outweighed this evil. I think you meant it tried to cause damage, but okay. So because you're saying that you were able to get rid of it pretty quickly, right? You were able to fight it and push it out and away. And hopefully you were able to decipher where it was, you know, what it was connected to, or where it was coming from, what it wanted. Yeah, I hope so. Okay. Any other questions about the spiritual war, the dark side, parasites, cords, or any questions about me or services or whatever? Yeah, she says, okay, good. I'm so glad to hear that, sweetie. And you haven't had a situation like that since then? And how did you feel energetically after that? Were you tired for a while? Did you feel like you needed to really clear or do some energy healing? How did that go for you? What are the colors of spiritual beings that are seen in pink or violet bluish color? Those would be angels. If you're just seeing like either just energy fields or energy bodies or anything, you know, if it's like that, if it's just color, that would be angels. Or smell like sugar cookies. Yeah, that would be angels. Where can I book for Parasite? That would be, let me give you that one again. It would be this one here. Read about this one. This is the rainbow. Oh. Here we go. This is the rainbow light one. So read about this one. Oh, and I just got reminded. I think that when I created the newest one on the menu is the Divine Feminine Goddess one. I meant to do a specific booking form for that one, and I accidentally went to all the forms, so I got to fix that. So anyway, if you see that first, just understand that that's what that is. Or maybe a bad spirit followed me around. Sounds silly. Wait, I missed something. Yeah. Or maybe a bad spirit following me around. Sounds, I'm not sure if we missed something before that. So I'm just seeing that. Maybe you can clarify that. No, it doesn't sound silly at all, if that's what you're saying. Because I'm wondering how you felt afterwards, after this came through or into you, and you got it to leave your body, how your body felt afterwards. Because typically people will feel really tired or achy, depressed, things like this. Gabriella says, I love watching your lives. They are so informative. Oh, I'm so glad, sweetheart. I'm so glad. And let me know, reach out if you have any questions about the booking and whatever. Like I said, space is limited in June and July. I was guided to clear out a lot of space time to take care of things that I need to take care of and create and get ready for the Soul Quest program starting in July. So it is a limited availability at this point. How can you get rid of a hex? Pretty much the same way. That's a hex is, sorry, I'm going to sneeze and I hope it's just one time. Trying to fight that off. Now I'm going to put some beverage in my mouth and then I'm probably definitely going to sneeze. Oh, my ice melted. Bummer. So a hex is when somebody puts basically negative energy on you in a certain way. It could be very specific or about a specific situation, but it's literally sending a parasite to you and it influencing you or your life. It could make the parasite connect to you or somebody else, really depending on the situation. But if there's a true hex, a true spell, because, you know, a lot of people who say they could do spells, you know, it's all bullshit. They're not doing anything. But there are people who really can call in darkness and really work with dark magic, black magic, and do spells and do hexes, first of all. So that's important to understand how that whole thing works. I would say my suggestion would be to work with somebody like me that really is going to clear that, to help see what is connected to all of that. If it is a hex, to, if it is a spell, what is connected to it, who is connected to it. I can get all that information and unwind and detach from, all of it, clear the system out. Should do, grounding and infusion and activations and things like this. But, it would basically be that process. And then Neffel says, you have no idea how big of a help you are to me. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm having a real struggle with trying to tell what's what. Yeah, no, I get it. It is hard. And it's really hard if you have energetic parasitic influences that is, making the picture fuzzy and making it hard. See, that's the whole thing. If we're at a disadvantage, if we have any kind of parasite, any kind of disruption in our system, is going to mess with our psychic awareness, is going to mess with our perception, is going to confuse us. That's again, the name of the game. So it wants to keep you in a state of confusion. I'm like, really bad news for the dark and for parasites, because I come in to like vacuum it all up, clean it all up, transmute it all, get the real story down, empower you with the truth and how to move forward and all of these things. And yeah, trust me, when it comes to the spiritual war, I guess that's the other thing we didn't talk about. There's, real opposition for, doing the kind of thing that I do, because it is real deal shit around here. And I really can make them go, I don't want to just say it's me, because it's not me, but if it wasn't for me, it wouldn't be happening. So it is me. But I do work with Mother Earth Gaia herself. Mother Earth, I channel her. She works through me. Most of what I do is her influence and her direction. Super powerful, obviously. So, just that component. Then we have archangels, then we have ascended masters, and then we have everybody else. And we have all the different energetic and elemental tools, and anything is on the table when we're working in that. And we do absolutely have results there. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when we, eradicate and extract. Sometimes we have to be a little bit more patient with the process, be strategic in how we're going about stuff. It's just, sometimes it's a case by case basis, but in the end, no matter what, we absolutely, we're like Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? It's like, who are you going to call? And it will change what's going on, most definitely. There's in a lot of cases, hi Bubba, in a lot of cases, stuff that the person needs to do is ongoing maintenance to, because there's only so much we could do in that one healing session. Because too much of a good thing is also too much of a good thing. So we can't hit you with so much energy work and light and activations and infusions and all of this stuff. And just, it would be too much for the body. We're doing extractions, we're doing activations, we're doing infusions, or whatever it is that we're doing, we're guided to do. There's only so much we could do at one time, at one session. Obviously, or, again, too much light will overload the system, just like too much dark will overload the system. So we have to be careful with this stuff. So a lot of times when we have these sessions, we have like what goes on in the session, and then what goes on at night when you're sleeping for days after that. And then what you may be directed to do in a very unique way for yourself as, aftercare or during care. As well. And also for any of my healings, you get the recording. So you can, review them and do them again and again. Even if it is about an extraction and the thing is already gone, you can still reactivate all the other things. So that's something to think about with all my sessions as well, is that you can revisit them and, enjoy them over and over again. And you know, whether it's energy work or whatever that it is, I give you the recordings to all of those things. Okay. I'm really struggling at times. I keep taking in other people's energy at your job. That is definitely a thing and a problem. But if we work to get you, like, if you're overloaded, right? If you're overflowing, and then we take that down, even 50%, that is going to clear so much life force up for you. So you can now start working on the offensive and how to deal with, how to learn and work with your energy in a way where, what I call, going from all your windows and your doors open to all your windows and your doors closed, to you having full control over what you're connecting to and when. Well, at least mostly. Because we don't want to be fully disconnected to each other in the collective, but we don't want to be totally open either. And that was my problem. As a psychic, physical empath my whole life, I was physically disabled from my early 20s through my the beginning of my 40s. And it's because I had no understanding of what was going on energetically. Now, and for a long time, for the last 10 plus 12 years now, even as a psychic physical empath, I'm not bombarded with everybody's energy and feeling in my body exactly what everybody feels in their body all the time, and disabled like I was for basically my whole life, because I was just receiving and processing and just completely oblivious to what I was doing, because that's what I am. But if you're not conscious, it doesn't mean that your system's still not doing that. And sometimes, even when we're conscious and go, I know I'm an empath, I know I'm absorbing, I just don't know how to control it. I'm at the mercy of it. And that's kind of the story that is told from the dark side yet again. Oh, if you understand that there's this whole energy thing and you feel like shit, or, you know, you're emotionally a mess, or whatever you got going on, sorry, that's just the way that it is for you. And you're going to isolate, you're going to be weak, you're not going to ever reach your full and maximal potential. You're never going to maximize your abilities. You're never going to be in your highest possible timelines. And what have I been saying? That is exactly what the dark side wants. You to never, ever reach your maximum potential. My job and our job with the light, pointing to the crowded room here of the light, we show up for the very opposite. We want to push you towards your maximum potential and abilities, whatever that is. And in order to do that, you need to be sovereign. You need to be in control of what you're connected to. So now, for example, for me, it's like I need to, you know, be in a certain state of mind and say, I'm going to connect to this person, and I'm going to, you know, feel, you know, receive the, you know, feel into what's going on and turn everything on. It's just like, you know, getting into your cockpit and going, all right, we're going for a ride, instead of just like randomly flying around all the time. So that's something to be aware of for any single one of you empath, light bodies, light warriors, light workers, however you want to title yourselves. If you're somebody who has that situation where you're just like receiving and you do get bombarded, you do have a hard time, you know, separating yourself or absorbing other people's energies, this is because you're overloaded. And once you're overloaded, it's like the dam has broke, you know, the dam broke. So how do you control all that water all the time when it's constantly flowing in every direction? The dam already broke, right? So what we're talking about is rebuilding the dam, cleaning things up. And once you have control, then it's easier to keep control and then even take that water level down, more and more and more. So, you know, what I'm trying to give you is hope here for everybody who feels kind of like, you know, the hamster wheel is never going to, you know, I'm never going to get off this hamster wheel of just constantly, you know, being at the mercy of cosmic energy or people energy or dark side energy. And that's just not the case. It's just where you're at now until we get you past that. And then everything starts to shift in the upwards turn, which is now we're maximizing your energy. Now you're getting stronger psychically, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, abundantly. The farce is for all of humanity that we're not powerful, that we are limited, that we're not magical. When we really connect, when we really heal, when we really clear everything, when we really get sovereign and conscious for ourselves, then that's where the magic really comes into play. And we really can see ourselves and be in the world in a really high level magical way. And that is possible for all of us. Again, the story is that we're weak, that we're too sensitive, that, we need to isolate. And I remember when I was waking up and all this stuff was, I was finding all this stuff and guided to figure out this stuff because I didn't have anybody to tell me what was going on. And I kept coming across this stuff that said, empaths are sensitive and weak and delicate and need to be away from people. Now, like there was a time in my life where, oh my God, if I went into, for a long time, even in my ascension, that if I went into like a Walmart or, into, any place that was, a lot of people or a big crowd or, it's like maybe I could get through it okay in the moment. It still felt heavy, but afterwards it would take me hours I'd be really tired to just kind of start to not feel all that anymore. Now I go into a Walmart and it literally energizes me. I'm just, woo! I come out of there. I don't have the downtime. I don't feel tired. I don't have any of that anymore. Why? Because I'm past all that lower level bringing in and leeching and connecting. I'm in control of my field. I have a very high vibration. See what I'm saying? This is possible for every single one of us. But, with that super high vibration comes other things and obstacles and opposition that we have to deal with. But it evolves with us, and it's just part of the war. It's part of the battles. It's part of us being here, and we need to understand how that whole thing works. It's very can be very complicated on one side and very simple on the other side, depending on how you look at it. Anyway, okay. Mary says, maybe not a hex, but played with the Ouija board. Oh, girl. Yeah. Ouija boards are bad news, people. Bad news bears, people. We want to stay the F away from Ouija boards because they're literal portals to the dark. It's literally like calling up the darkest of dark. And they will connect. They will attach. They will definitely, yeah. No bueno, my dear. No bueno. The violet bluish color energies have one eye and then they spin when they get close to your face. Okay. And you're seeing this with your third eye or with your eyes, two eyes. Tell me about that. Mary says, I'm an empath. Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I know. You should take my empath quiz though, sweetie, to find out exactly where you are on the empath scale, because there is a spectrum. Let me give you the link. And if anybody hasn't taken this quiz yet, definitely take this quiz. It only takes about 10 minutes. They're yes and no questions. Did it go? There's always a delay here. There it goes. There's always a delay. There's always there is a spectrum, and it's good to know when, or where you are on that spectrum. Because that dictates, like me as a psychic physical empath, I literally feel in my body what other people feel in their bodies, exactly how they feel it. So if you have a backache, a neck ache, a stomach ache, a headache, you know, whatever, if you're sick, if you're, as well as like the emotional stuff too, like I will very much pick up on something being off or you being depressed or, you know, the run of the mill empath stuff. But when you're on the upper scale of the spectrum as a psychic physical empath, you will feel in your body what other people feel. So that's also very much a factor in how empaths perceive and live in the world. If they're always feeling other people physically, and we don't just feel one person at a time, we're feeling everybody at once. So it can be really devastating to us physically and energetically. A lot of pain. I dealt with a shit ton of pain all the time. It sucked for like 40 years. Now I will feel it specifically when I'm wanting to feel, because there is a purpose to it. There is a purpose to being an empath, to knowing these things. The purpose is awareness of what's going on with the people and the things around us, so we can either help or avoid things. It's very much a practical ability and gift to have, but you need to be able to control that shit, or it's running amok and you can't live life. Like I couldn't live life for like 40 years. It was awful. Gabriella says, I am 44. Cool. Good age. I'm 51. Mary says, do you believe in past lives, reincarnation? Yes. Yeah, they're not even really past lives. They're co-current lives. It's our perception is that they're past lives, when really these timelines are more stacked than linear. So when we are experiencing this lifetime, when we have a wound, when we have, you know, what we consider karma, we have archetypes and we have repeating stories and things like this, those are connected to our other timelines as well. So when we heal, let's say the mother wound in this lifetime, we're healing the mother wound across all of our incarnations at the same time. And when those incarnations are going through things or healing things, and that filters down to this incarnation here as well. So there's two definitions to as we heal, when we heal all, which is something that I always say when I'm in session with people, and that it's just the truth. As we heal one, we heal all. So as we're healing you, we're sending out this vibration to the collective. Everybody's benefiting from you and this one healing, this one clearing, or whatever that it is. But as we heal you, this one in this lifetime, we're also healing all of your incarnations, all your soul, and all of the stories and all of the lifetimes. You're not separated from your other incarnations ever. You're just, it seems like that, but it's not true. And this is why we can have very strong reactions and phobias and recurring themes in these lives, because we're mirroring other lives at co-currently. It's a little bit of a mind twist, but it is what it is. Oh, you're 44 on the empath scale. Oh, that's hilarious. I said you're 44. I didn't know how old you are. Oh, that's so funny. She's like, no, I'm not that old. Yeah, the 44, and I always add a couple. Just because most people will say no to a couple of things that are usually, you know, maybe yes more than half the time. And sometimes, yeah, like if you take that quiz 3 times, you're probably going to get 1 or 2 times it has a higher score. So I always add a couple to that, which means 46, which is, it's out of a possible 51 or 52. So that's pretty high. That's pretty high on that physical empath scale. It's rare people are all the way off the scale like I am. If you are on that higher range, it will be around that mid 40s. But still, that's a lot. That's a lot of physical feeling of in your body that you can't differentiate, that's not yours. So that's like one of the things as a physical empath, we have to ask ourselves, is this mine? Or am I feeling somebody else or a culmination of others and it's presenting in my body like this? And that's not something I knew to do forever. Like, why would I think it's not me? I'm just thinking all of a sudden, now this hurts or that hurts, or I feel, I had energy. Now I feel like shit, or, whatever, it was so and wildly unpredictable because I was just picking, I was just receiving, just imagine receiving. You go to school, you go to work, you're in traffic, you're at the store, you're in your family's home. There's everybody here, blah, blah, blah. There's all these different energies. Oh my God. That's gnarly for us, for anybody. But if you're a psychic physical empath, it's a lot. I didn't start to really feel good in my life until I started working from home. And this is after years on disability and years of, medications and being diagnosed with fibromyalgia and being, completely, just limited and not in any way productive in my life, because I barely could do anything. I was so exhausted and so much pain all the time, It was awful. Okay. I see an eye when my eyes are closed. Then I can see it when my eyes are open. That's why I'm going to book this session. I believe something is influencing my discernment. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting because I'm not quite certain exactly what it is that you're seeing, because if it's angelic, it's just energy. Like angels and archangels don't have any kind of physical body at all. It's just, it's like they're oblong, or they'll just kind of present as glowy things that kind of do this thing, or they're long and oblong. Every time, if I'm perceiving archangels, they're always really, 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 really tall and oblong, and they cycle through colors because they're all kind of one unit. That's another thing about archangels. A lot of people don't know, where one goes, they all go, but that's not, again, something most people would know, but it's true. So that's interesting. But anyway, yeah, what you're describing sounds like something else, but I'm just wondering, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's nefarious. It just means that it's not clear. Something is trying to come through, trying to be seen by you, and it's just the clarity isn't there. But I think we've already established that you're overloaded energetically, which is going to play a part in your perception and your clarity for sure. Hey, Aishka, welcome. Good. It's going great. Oh my gosh, you've already been here for almost 2 hours. Does anybody have any other questions about the spiritual war? This fun topic. But it is what it is. We need to understand, we need to learn, we need to open up, we need to share information about these things and experiences. I appreciate all of you for being here tonight. And opening up and receiving this information. It's really important. More and more people understand that there is a spiritual war, there is the light, there is the dark, and what is in play, how we're influenced, how others are influenced, the programming, the illusions. It really is very, the movie, The Matrix, it's very matrixy, so much so that it's called the material matrix. And then we have the abundant matrix. The abundant matrix is Gaia's crystalline grid, and it's where all the light codes and all the divine energies filter through. This is why even when we're not awake consciously, we'll be guided to crystals and stuff. Then when we really wake up, we're really guided to crystals, because that connects us to the abundance matrix. It helps bring down the material fear-based matrix within our field, within our perception, within our cognition, whether we're awake or in our sleep or astral state or in our wake state. And it is, because it's all invisible, again, like I've said, it's something that takes practice and experience to really retrain ourselves to understand. There is a lot that's there that is unseen from both the light and the dark side. And it's not about fear at all. I'm never coming at you with fear ever to make you afraid. I'm here to make you aware and to empower you, because awareness is power. Truth is power. False stories, denial, and fear is all material matrix based business. We want to get out of that control system of perception and understanding and shift into the limitless light side of things, so we can eradicate the control over us, really understand ourselves and who we are and what we're meant to do here. Create and co-create, collaborate, unite, in all the ways that we're meant to. That's where I'm headed. That's what I want to do. That's why I've been guided to create all these groups, guided to create different ways to work with me. And, so on whatever financial place that you're at, you can work with me. And I do take payments, and I do work with people, and I do, and I'm very much guided to help people and help us all heal the money wound. And with that said, just in case we have new people here, which I think we do, I want to share for you a place on my website. Let me get you the link here, and then I'm going to share my screen, because I want to leave you with a gift for those of you who don't know about this, or you're new, and welcome everybody that's new. Let's let this go through. Oh, wow. We're all the way down here. Oh, shoot. I missed all this stuff. Sorry. I thought it ended at Aishka's How's It Going? Yeah, I got that. Okay. You know some of your past lives, you call them. Very cool, Mary. That's awesome. I know some too. Gabriella says, I'm 23 years old. Yeah, that's what I figured. Oh, I'm way behind. Also, I can feel, okay, so we have Neffel saying, also, I can feel others' pain. It's insane. I also feel a sting when people have low vibrational energy. Yeah. I really want you to take the quiz, sweetie. Because I have a feeling you're high on that scale as well. Mary says, Gabriella, how long did it take you to do the empath test? Yeah, it only takes like 10 minutes. Yeah, definitely do it. Like I said, it only takes, okay, we're caught up. All right. Sorry, guys. I missed a whole bunch there. I thought I was at the end and I wasn't. Okay. So this, this last link here is to this page. Let me show you right now. Going to go entire screen, just easier that way. So right here, you guys, this is the channeled spirit walk meditations. Whoopsie. I channeled these like 4 years ago, and they're all working with Gaia. They're all channeled with Gaia. And from this one is like, you have to actually, I think, click. I always forget which one. Where do I have to go to? There we go. If you click on download, it'll open up the page for this one all by itself. Oopsie. And you can download these. Where does it? It's not giving me. Well, you can't. This looks different. Oh, like this one, right? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do again. Pause it. Yeah, see, that just downloaded, and I'm just there's this one that has a lot of, it's heal fear, shame, guilt, judgment, unworthiness, imposter syndrome, associated with the money wound, abandonment, and all sorts of stuff. This last one here, number 5, is a doozy. But these are what we call up here the core 5 spirit walk meditations that I channeled like 4 or 5 years ago. Rebirthing your inner child, the importance of astral meditation. So that's kind of in between there. Body love and meet your guardian angel, and abundance and healing the money wound. These are all if you were to join my Unstoppable Empath course and group membership, that's part of the homework, is to do all of these spirit walks. If you're going to work with me one-on-one, this is part of the homework, to do all these spirit walks, because they're very foundational and they help recalibrate you in a lot of different ways. Like I said, abundance and healing the money wound, body love and meet your guardian angel, rebirthing your inner child, and then heal all this fear, shame, guilt, judgment, like all of that. It doesn't heal all of it, but it helps process a lot of it, brings it to the surface. It does help unload it. And all of these you work with Gaia directly, and guardian angel, and it's really, really awesome. And it's for free. All of these are for free. You can download them and do them anytime, and you're really guided to do them often, like every few months, because you need a refresher. So if you want a little bit more on what it is to, a little preview on kind of how I work in that astral space of channeling for healing sessions or spirit walks and stuff like that, and just for you to experience these free healing sessions for yourself, every single one of them is going to make you feel better and different and more aligned, and they're free to do, and they're free to do often. And I highly suggest that you take me up on that. Again, that's this link here is that, and you can also find that I should have shown you that too. Let me show you that, just in case you don't or lose the link at some time. So here we are on my website. If you go to more, it's right here. Under more, there's quite a bit here under more, but that's one of the things, is channeled spirit walk meditations. And then again, to get to my menu of services, it's consultations and services. This is where you can also look at client testimonials, video testimonials for the Soul Quest program. And then here we have the different things that you can look into for booking. But there's this one here, consultations and services, will take you to the page where the whole, all the stuff is. So you can go ahead and book there. Reach out. You can send me a DM, send me an email through the website, whatever works for you, to if you have any questions. Again, I do free consultations. If you're like, oh, I'm interested in maybe this and this and that, we can discuss it and find the best course of action for you. But pretty much across the board for everybody, I would recommend the basics, which is rainbow light healing session. Everybody can use that, whether you have a parasite or not. We just want to, clear and align chakras and connect you with Gaia, and do some rainbow light body healing and infusion and activations. It's really, really beautiful and wonderful and powerful. I love, and they're so unique. And the next thing would be the Unstoppable Empath course and membership. Like I said, that's all about cord cutting and cord resets. It's you learning to do this energy work for yourself that you should be doing for the rest of your life. It's super duper important. And that's only $35 a month. And I do weekly meetings, and we have a Facebook group. You get a lot for that money. I highly suggest it. Can I send empath link? Yes. 1 second. Here is the empath quiz. Oh, you sent me a friend request. You know what you should do? Make sure you follow my page because I literally never do any. I probably have 200 friend requests because I am never on my profile side of Facebook. I'm only on my page side. So follow me on my page and also follow, in the description of this podcast or this, live feed, there is also the link to the group for the We Are Healing Live podcast, but I'm going to give you the link here anyway. And this podcast is meant to, hey, Aaron, this podcast is meant to, it's brand new. This is only my 6th episode with this podcast. I've had other podcasts over the years, but this is my first exclusive live podcast. And if you read the description and go to the, please join the whatchamacallit, the Facebook group. Oh, did I not paste it here? Whoops. Wait. Oh, it didn't. Oh, I did that. Hold on a second. It didn't copy that. Sorry. Well, what did I just do? Oh. What a dork. I pasted and then copied my paste, and it was the quiz. Okay, there we go. There's this podcast Facebook group. So if you're not already part of the Facebook group, I do want more activity there, people to post, people to ask questions. And as a reminder, those of you that are new, this podcast is able to, as you can see, I'm streaming to Facebook, to YouTube, and to X. I do want to start scheduling people to interview, to have people on to talk about your healing experience, either as a healer or as somebody who had a profound healing experience with a healer or on your own. This is also about, obviously, spirituality and community, us coming together, having a safe place to discuss all this stuff, knowing that you're with somebody who is the real deal. I'm an Archangel Incarnate. I'm connected with Gaia, connected with Archangels, connected with Ascended Masters, connected with yours and my spirit tribe, especially if you work with me directly, obviously. But just being in the mix and, in the group, follow my page as well. Like I said, I am never, ever on my profile side of things. So please just connect to me through my page. Hopefully that is, let me get you the link to my page, just in case that's not obvious for some reason. People across the board, whether you're on Facebook right now or not, I'm pretty active on Facebook. On my page, and I'm constantly posting channelings and from the High Council about the current cosmic weather and what's going on, and just, messages, whatever comes through. So cool, Aaron. Awesome. Everybody join the group. I want it to be a real robust place of meeting, of sharing, of people coming together and uniting. We're all, there's parts of our journey where we need to do things on our own and alone. It's very important, but none of us are meant to do it all alone. We're meant to have our soul family group, and I'm meant to receive a lot of soul family and hold the space for soul family to come together, to meet, to unite, to create and collaborate. These are the things, aside from working with people one-on-one and healing, going from chronically ill to superpower, humans and divine incarnates, is something I'm absolutely addicted to. I love doing it because that was my story. I went from chronically ill, barely could get out of bed, couldn't go to the grocery store for myself, Couldn't keep a job for longer than, several months, whatever, over years and years. Couldn't, I could not do, and I was so limited because I was so unaware and so ignorant to everything. And as I went through my journey, I learned more, I connected more, I was guided more, I embodied, I've done a lot, a lot of work on myself, for myself, and with and for others. And I absolutely love it. I love duplicating that experience and empowering people to maximize their potential, their power, their life force, their psychic abilities. And I always say, just because you can't do it now doesn't mean, it means you can't do it yet. Like I couldn't always channel. I wasn't always heal. Like I wasn't doing most of the stuff, until I did develop into that, until it did come through. So, keep an open mind about your development and your process and where you're at, and just keep on moving forward is all that you need to do. Okay, Aaron joined the group. Whoop, whoop. Yay. Wonderful. Okay, so you guys, this has been so much fun. I really enjoyed this. I love coming on live and hanging out and talking, I not really love talking about the spiritual war and all this crazy shit, but it is a part of my purpose and destiny and mission is to bring this awareness and help people understand. And for anybody who is drawn to this space, I welcome you, and let me know if you want to work with me more directly. I'm not a pushy person by any means. I believe if you were guided here, you're meant to be here. If you're meant to work with me in groups or one-on-one or long-term, it will happen. I believe in divine right timing. I also believe that we create the limitations for ourselves, whether it's time, space, or money. And I'm into kind of like Ganesha. I love working with Ganesha, just clearing limitations, clearing the path, and letting everything unfold divinely, not being a factor in my own blocks and limitations, but opening up to everything. So the magic can all come in, so we can develop and experience things the way that we're truly meant to. So that's my motivation. That's my mission. That's what I'm all about, you guys. And yeah, I'm addicted to it. I love it because that's my story. And and I'm guided to repeat that uniquely for everybody else in your own way. So if that's all, if we don't have any more questions for now, I do really encourage you, if you did come in late, to go back and watch this from the beginning, because I do get into a lot of stuff about the spiritual war and parasites and all sorts of stuff. It's really important to know. One of my latest posts on my page and on X are several articles and channelings to really understand the spiritual war more. I guide you to do that. And then, just generally speaking, everybody, one more thing I want to share with you is my Medium profile. If you're not aware of that, this is where you can find 4 years worth of channeling and articles and all sorts of stuff about spirituality, energy, the spiritual war, archangels, Gaia, processes of ascension, and all sorts of stuff. Go to this medium.com, Infiniti_963. There's a plethora to consume there. And you also can, what's really cool, if you're not a reader, because a lot of my articles and channelings and stuff are pretty long, you can listen to them. So you just hit play at the top of the page, and you can listen to, it's artificial and tell, whatever voice, but you can listen to them too. So just want to put that out there for you all. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. again, reach out, follow me on my Facebook page. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching me through YouTube. I think I only have like 23 followers or subscribers on YouTube. So please subscribe on YouTube. But I welcome you to join me from any of the platforms. And I thank you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful Stargate. I will be back next Friday. I'm not sure. I'm going to try to post and have scheduled sooner than later what the topic will be. Again, and in the description of this podcast, this stream is also the form for if you want to potentially be a guest on my podcast. So check that out. Otherwise, again, thank you for being here. Sending love and light to everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your Friday. Have a wonderful weekend. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye for now. Oh, love you too. Bless you too. Love you too. Bye, everybody. Look at my dogs coming. They're like, oh, she's done. They're bringing me balls. They're ready. They're like, yay, she's done. All right, guys. Bye.